I think the global pandemic has made some things about global inequality and local inequality far more obvious. It has made it really obvious how much work women ordinarily do within households and families in my own country. And it has made it very clear that women are doing most of the work of parenting and all the things that surround parenting, like transporting children to and from school, dealing with appointments. Women are juggling those things alongside paid work when they have paid work, and the pandemic has made that very obvious. It's made it obvious how difficult it is to renegotiate those arrangements within families and households, and that leaves women bearing a disproportionate load that apparently cannot be readily renegotiated even in the face of a global pandemic, which is saying quite a bit in my opinion. One of the other things I've noticed under the pandemic is that there is a lot of emotional labour going on the part of women, so that in a time when particularly vulnerable people have been under particular pressure, women have been dealing with the acute pain caused by shutdowns of institutions where elderly people and people with disabilities are sometimes living. Women are dealing with the pain of children who are unable to attend school. Women are dealing with the pain of people who've lost their jobs, even if women also have lost our jobs. So there is a vast amount of emotional labour that has been required by people adjusting to the changes that the pandemic has brought in Australia and the pain that it has brought both here and globally. And even though Australia's been lucky in that way fewer people here have suffered and died as a result of the pandemic, that emotional labour is being borne by women both here and in many parts of the globe. And there is only so much of that a person can manage to do, is my perception. So that managing all of that at the personal and community level, and also having the emotional and intellectual capital to manage dealing with climate crisis and other bigger issues, super challenging. So I think there is only so much that anyone can choose to do in relation to emotional labour as well as in relation to time and money. The global pandemic has created a lot of emotional labour, and like emotional labour prior to the pandemic, a lot of that emotional labour is being shouldered by women or managed by women. And when that burden is intense, as I believe it has been under the pandemic, there is less remaining capacity on the part of women to also do the emotional labour required to be hopeful, optimistic, forward-looking, and address issues that are acutely painful to constantly think about, the way that the climate crisis is acutely painful to continue to have to look at.